Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Fun Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm Seun Okimbalewe in Abuja. It's been some weeks of worries over the state of security in the country. Escalating situation in Plateau State, and yesterday, the Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Seun Okimbalewe visited the state where he ordered troops to adopt a more aggressive posture and stamp out terrorists, wreaking havoc in Plateau State and other states. Take a listen to the Chief of Army Staff.
I've had a chat with your commander and his planning staff on the security situation on the plateau, especially in Mangu. I know that the situation here is complex because a lot of people have imputed religion, they have imputed ethnicity, and what have you into what people are experiencing here. But as soldiers, your focus is on one thing. Every lawbreaker must be apprehended, and anyone that is found in possession of arms must be brought down. Is that clear?
Those instructions are very strong, but then the federal government has also been reacting to some of these concerns on the state of the nation. And today, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has strongly dismissed some claims while trying to get some commitments from Nigerians by assuring that the government is doing its best part of what he says is to dismiss claims that the relocation of some departments in the two agencies of government are political moves to marginalize a section of the country. In the area of security, this is what the minister says. The minister says that, quote, in the area of security, all threats are being boldly confronted. We are taking the fight to the criminals' dens with promising results within the last week. Several bandits, kidnappers, and militants have been neutralized or arrested. On the economy, he says, quote, regarding the economy, all relevant ministries and agencies of the federal government are working in coordinated fashion to bring down inflation, stabilize foreign exchange rates, and create a truly enabling environment for business and investment. The Nigeria that President Tinubu seeks to build is one where no one is left behind. And on the relocation of departments of some federal ministries, he says, quote, it is not true that the relocation to Lagos of the headquarters of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and of certain departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria are political moves aimed at marginalizing a section of the country. These allegations are unfounded. Instead, these are pragmatic administrative steps to improve operational efficiency and reduce operating costs. End of quote. That is the Minister of Information there. But so much to take in if you look at the condition and the state of things in the country. You as a citizen, you perhaps are bearing the brunt directly and you are feeling the heat directly because when you go to the marketplace, you are the one spending your money to buy. Does the government of the day know what you feel, your plight? Have they been able to move up to the expectations and the promises they made during the campaign when those of you who voted for this government and those who did not, when they were campaigning, are these promises being kept? Look, a lot is going on in the country. The All Progressives Congress, APC, must be thinking deeply now about the promises they made to the Nigerian people during campaign and the burden of delivering those in the midst of negative indices that we now see and the plight of citizens. One of the major blocks in the ruling APC is a group of governors, the APC governors, the Progressive Governors Forum. They are a very influential bloc who you can say produced the candidate Bola Tinubu in the primaries of the APC. And tonight, they say they are equally concerned. The chair of the Progressive Governors Forum and governor of Imo State is my guest tonight on the program, Senator Hope Uzodimma. He joins us live in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Seun.
A lot of things are happening in the country, and one we wonder, especially coming from the governors of the APC. Your party made bold promises. You said it was a renewed hope agenda. But on the lips of many Nigerians, now they will be asking, where is the promise? Where are those promises made to them?
Thank you, Seun. We had a manifesto as a political party, All Progressive Congress. And before we supported the emergence of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our candidate for the election, we sampled the opinions of Nigerians. We evaluated the situation on ground. And it was very clear to us that the president that will be needed at that point in time has to be a pan-Nigerian, has to be a man that is versatile, with experience to manage the economy, manage politics, and also manage social existence. And in President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, we saw his credentials. And as a matter of fact, in our party, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu was a candidate that was sponsored by consensus by the Progressive Governors Forum. And I can tell you that he's a pan-Nigerian. He understands very clearly the challenges facing the country and relatively very versatile, confident that he will address and correct the ills of the society.
But the versatility, Governor Uzodimma, some Nigerians will be asking, where is that versatility?
No, let me tell you something. There is a difference between a patient and a doctor. The process of identifying the ills of the society and the process of propounding a solution and applying that solution, they are two different things. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria just how many months ago? I forget, from 1999 to date, how many years? And here is a president who came, despite the inability of previous governments to remove the cancer in our system as a society.
Which is?
Which is subsidy.
How much of a cancer is
quote and unquote, the provision of subsidy for petroleum products for 40 years. Government after government, we are not able to remove this anomaly in the society, anomaly in our economy, anomaly in our existence. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came under 7 months. In fact, the day he was sworn in, he made the proclamation that he will remove the subsidy. And you know, and I know.
Governor Uzodimma, this particular measure that you mentioned is what a lot of Nigerians will say. It was a knee-jerk approach. Perhaps one policy, there are a lot of people will say good policy, but not well thought out. It's biting hard on the average Nigerian. The cushioning effect is not properly laid on the ground before the policy was established.
Understand that the problem can be likened to malaria. Somebody suffering from malaria. And every time he has fever, and he's drinking Panadol. And every day you take Panadol and the malaria still exists. You are sick until you are properly treated. Him, with the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not unaware that what is happening now will happen. But yet, he took courage and boldness to manage this matter. If you must be treated of a sickness that requires a bitter pill, when you swallow the pill, initially, it will be very bitter. You may be angry. But when it gets down to the system and cures the sickness, you will begin to appreciate the real essence why that pill was applied to.
There are those who will say now, yeah, you're applying the medication, but things are not working, people are dying, things are getting worse. I don't feel like things are... Because those who will say, look, why shouldn't the government... And I'm looking at those who do not understand the English language we are speaking right now on television. Their major concern is that they are not able to meet the needs of their children of their wife, of their community, because of the biting state of the economy.
Can I tell you the truth, if you must want to know now? The truth is that the subsidy that has just been removed was benefiting a group of cabals who became billionaires overnight, who became very rich overnight, to the detriment of Nigerians, uninformed and ignorant people in the remote areas. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu see interest. It's the interest of those people at the remote areas. You have billionaires who bought private jets, who built castles all over the world. Very few of them in the name of subsidy. But what we are saying, how do we consolidate our economy so that Naira that used to be stronger than the US dollar will come back?
But the Naira to dollar parity, I mean, the rate in now is all-time high. It's never been this high. Almost 1,400 at the parallel market.
In the program of economic recovery, there is what we call infancy stage. He has just drafted a policy that will make Naira very strong again. And there will be initial challenges. The cabal will want to frustrate it. The cabal will want to sabotage it. Those who are fighting against the common economy of our country to benefit themselves will want to sabotage it.
Is that what is going on?
But we need time. And
how much time?
And time shall tell.
Governor Uzodimma, do you know how much percentage that President Tinubu has spent in office in his 4 years? He spent a considerable amount of time, almost 7 months, almost a year.
Okay, I ask you one question. From 1999 to today, how many years? Answer.
Well, Governor Uzodimma,
no, answer first. How many years?
I'm the one asking the question.
No, from 1999 to today, how many years?
The question is, Nigeria voted for Bola Tinubu for 4 years, hoping that he promised he's going to fix the problem of Nigeria.
You didn't vote. You voted not to a magician. You voted to a visionary leader.
But what your party preached almost a magic to Nigeria.
No, but the party preached that they have a solution to the problems of the country, vis-a-vis the economy, the politics, the security. And I can tell you, without any fear of any contradiction, that the current policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president is the password to enter the system. I can tell you that what he has done by unifying the exchange rate program, what he has done by removing petroleum product subsidy, what he has done by deploying and strengthening the security architecture to address the three principal problems of the country, vis-a-vis economy, security, and then foreign exchange disparity, which will make Naira very strong. The cabal, who are currently hoarding the dollars, who are currently sabotaging the system, who are currently angry because they are out of business as a result of this bold policy, they are still fighting. The time shall tell. And in the next couple of months, when we begin to see the result of the current policies of the current administration, Seun, I will tell you that Nigerians will rise in unison to commend the president.
Are these the same cabal who are responsible for the state of insecurity in the country right now? Because things are very difficult. A lot of people are living in fear. From Lagos, the chairman of a political party in Lagos on his way to Lagos, the kidnapping from Kaduna to Taraba, even the FCT, things are really in a critical stage.
You have forgotten, Seun, that the insecurity in the country did not start with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Recall that even under President Musa Yar'Adua, that insecurity reared its ugly head. Coming up to President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, up to President Muhammad Buhari, insecurity was very here in the country. And what has happened? Check the constitution of the current security architecture in the country. We talked of inclusiveness, where a situation that for the first time in this country, I can tell you, I come from the southeastern part of the country, and I can tell you that this is for the last 10 years, we are having one of the service chiefs come from Southeast, the chief of naval staff. That has given a sense of belonging to the people of Southeast. The wisdom, well appreciated. So this thing that has cumulatively been here over time is being addressed. But I don't see the reason for this hurry. The anxiety of making sure as if it is going to be a magic that the ills of 20 years must be solved in 7 months, to say the least, is unreasonable.
Those who are in pains and who are in abject poverty may not agree with you. When you're asking them that they should be patient and they keep suffering, they keep feeling the hardship, it might be unfair to them, don't you think?
Poverty of how many years and government of how many months? Let us comparatively discuss this issue. That we have been in poverty from 1999 to 2023.
Let's talk about what has happened in the last 1 year, in the last 7 months of President Tinubu. The price of Gari, my viewers can tell us. The price of rice, my viewers can tell us. The price of yam in the market. Prices have skyrocketed. In the last December the celebration, they can tell you, those who feed, the manner in which they fed a year and 2 years ago is now very different. And if you are telling them tonight that they should be patient, and you're telling them tonight that this hurry is unreasonable, do you know what their response will be to you?
No, let me tell you, it's not telling them, because you are speaking from one side of the society. Let me tell you something. If the policies, the situation as it is now, today, and the consequences of the various policies of government is not unexpected, there is no how it can cure the negative impact of a subsidy removal. You can cure the negative impact of removing a cabal that have managed our exchange rate programs over the years to their interest without some pains. This initial pains is why federal government has introduced some measures, what we call palliative measures.
But they will ask you, they've not seen.
No, it can never
be. How many people?
It can never be enough,
palliatives?
because it cannot only dash fish to human beings. You must teach a human being how to fish. The giving of palliatives by forms of foodstuffs, palliative envelopes, can never be enough. We are trying, the president, as I understand, is trying to bring a permanent solution to the problems of poverty, hunger, and then bad economy. So I think that, speaking with the president, I'm the chairman of Progressive Governors Forum. I preside over the meetings of 20 governors in Nigeria out of 36. I've interacted with the president. And Seun, you don't know me to be a sycophant. If the president has no clear direction of what will lead Nigeria to prosperity, I will be one of those that will first begin to protest. But he has a solution I've considered a permanent solution.
How long more should Nigerians wait? How long more should they endure this pain and this suffering?
I don't believe in hypothesis. I don't come here and sit and become a prophet. But I tell you, in my findings and understanding of the country, that there exists cabals and deities who before dollar business can be conducted must be worshipped. Who before political decisions must be taken must be consulted. And this has become a retardation to the progress of Nigeria.
Why can't we take out these cabals? Are they bigger than Nigeria?
They are the people sponsoring both artificial media. They are the people sponsoring opposition to come with the blackmail and the negative propaganda against a president who is very versatile, who is from the private sector, who meant well, who wants to correct the ills of the past.
Are they the same people who are sponsoring foreign investors who are leaving the country in droves?
No, those leaving are not investors. They are those who were benefiting from the cabal system. When they tell you they're leaving because they can no longer benefit from foreign exchange disparity. They can no longer benefit from crude oil theft. They can no longer benefit from the cases of petroleum subsidy. pretending to be importing fuel when they were not importing anyone, forging documents to access of government money. Those are the people living. And again, it is a blessing in disguise, because the more they live, the more opportunity the indigenous companies will have to participate. There is no rocket science. There is no foreign investor who is comfortable in his country that will want to leave his country and come here. And at the same time, there is the people of the good investors and genuine investors who are Nigerians, who have been denied opportunity to practice and invest. They now have opportunity to do so. So I think the earlier the artificial and fake investors leaves, the better for Nigeria.
And when you call some of these blue chip companies, this private sector, that they're operating in other climes, you describe them in this way. Those who think and say that the present climate in the country is not really favorable.
We take the oil and gas industry, for instance. Is there anywhere in the world you go and you see any filling station, you want to refuel your car, that is not Shell, Mobil, Chevron, Total? How many of them are operating filling stations in Nigeria? Why are we isolated? And they call them real investors. Why have they taken to offshore operation, abandoning onshore operation? If they are genuine. You go to Houston, landing Houston Airport, you see oil locations, you see vegetables planted all over there, habitable for human existence. Fly to Warri. As you are landing Warri Airport, look at oil locations, look at the sea, all the fish, there's nothing existent. No fish is there, nothing. The environment is degraded to criminal level. Are they what we call investors? People who have no regard to our environmental laws. Are they what we call investors? People who now operate to double standards, apply a different application in other countries, and then apply degrading application to Nigeria. Is that what you call investors? Please, if we don't take our destiny in our hands, we will be doomed for it. We must find courage, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu must be supported to succeed. I'm not a prophet, but my experience of life, my experience doing business for the past 45 years, tells me that this is the man to support so Nigeria can become Nigeria again.
Let me ask, why is, you are the leader of a political bloc in the APC, the ruling party, but it does look like internally your party is having some political issues. And there is a decision on the policy of government, for example, the planned relocation of some department within the aviation ministry and in the CBN is causing a lot of uproar. And in fact, it has come to the point that some political figures are threatening that if the president and the government goes ahead with this policy, it will have dire political implication.
So, like what example?
Senator Ali Ndume was on this program.
Okay, listen, I listened to Ali Ndume. I also listened to Northern Senators Forum. I listened to the Emir of Kano. You can see the preponderance of opinions. And then the majority opinion is that merit should be the driving criteria for decision makings in the country. The movement of the operations department of FAN to Lagos, where Lagos is the major aviation hub. Aviation hub is in Lagos. And if the operations department is sent to Lagos to be able to manage aviation operations effectively and efficiently, I have not seen any ill in it. On the other hand, the CBN we are talking about, without prejudice to whatever anything government is saying, all the banks, all the commercial banks, central bank is the banker's bank. Their job is to supervise banks. And if all the commercial banks have their headquarters in Lagos, it goes without saying that the banking supervision department of central bank should be resident in Lagos if they must be efficient. And this is very correct to ensure that banking supervision is regular, efficient, and effective. Now, there is no how a President Ahmed Bola Tinubu alone cannot move the capital of Nigeria to Lagos. If you understand the doctrine of separation of power and how the constitution of the country runs, the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive, even within the executive, there we have checks and balances. So, but the merit should be the driving criteria. I'm not holding brief for Mr. President. I'm not his spokesperson. But I think that I was once the chairman, Senate Committee on Aviation. And for me to be able to supervise that sector very well, I knew how many times I went with my committee on oversight functions to Lagos. And I know how much we spent. And if efficiency should be the name of the business, and we must save cost, it means that the supervisors and regulatory institutions must be resident, proximity to the residents of the operation. Therefore, if you move FAN, the operations department of FAN to Lagos to supervise airlines, it makes both economic and political sense.
But why are some northern political elites and leaders fighting this?
No, you don't understand. I'm telling you that the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has come with bold policies to rescue our economy. And here comes those he defeated in the field during the elections, sponsoring campaign of calumny, sponsoring black propaganda to demean his government and the achievements. And I can tell you, Seun, they did this to the former president, President Muhammad Buhari, and they almost succeeded. But this time around, we will rise to the occasion. We will do whatever it will take to identify these black legs in the country and call them to order.
So when they said there is a hidden agenda behind those plans, you don't think that
no, listen, you were here in the country in the last election. Nigerians voted for President Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu because he's a pan-Nigerian. He's a highly detribalized Nigerian. He's a creative thinker. He's a man of ideas. Even when he chose his running mate in the Muslim ticket, those reasonable people who initially were against it, seeing the bold steps he's taken now, have come to terms with the reality and they have started commending him. So it is not about gossip. It is not about blackmail.
So I mean, they said it was the work of the Lagos boys.
There is nothing.
There is a political agenda.
Am I a Lagos boy? I'm from Southeast. I'm the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, 5 states. I'm the chairman of Progressive Governors Forum, 20 governors. And we are unanimous in supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that he succeeds in rescuing this economy, in rescuing this country, in making sure that we live according to the expectations of our founding fathers. And I can tell you, Seun, 7 months or 8 months into his 4 years mandate is not enough to judge him. So why the hurry? Some people are suffering from anxiety cirrhosis. Some people are not able to come to terms with the reality of on the ground. And I am confident, like I told you, I have my belief that if this man is not able to get this country correct, then something must be wrong.
Let's take a breather. There's so much more to talk about. The United States Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, has his own view about the approach of President Bola Tinubu. There is the issue of security situation. Even the governor of Imo State, on a day that they will refer to as a sit-at-home day in Imo State, he chose the inauguration to be on that day. There are a lot of issues. He's the chair of the Southeast Governors Forum. And all of this security situation, those asking for restructuring, these are more issues. We dig deeper into some of these issues when we return after this break, everyone. Join us again. Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our conversation with the chair of the APC Governors Forum, the Progressive Governors Forum, and he's also the chair of the Southeast Governors Forum. The governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Let's get to the issue of security. For a moment, governors are called chief security officers of their state. But how much of that power do the governors have? Kidnappings are happening in most parts of the country. What are you telling yourselves as a bloc in solving these problems in your different states?
Well, there's no doubt the governors are chief security officers of the state. Because Nigeria is a federation, and there are two governments in one. One is the federal government, and the second are the federating units. Therefore, to be able to operate in a seamless manner, we need to have the proper synergy. That will, because security, according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is in the exclusive legislative list. Therefore, what is expected of the subnational government is to key in and have a working synergy between the federal establishment and that of the subnational government. The reason being that security is very expensive, and I can't see any subnational government in Nigeria today that can fund completely the cost of providing adequate security in the various subnational governments. So working together as a federation, we have to manage our work programs in synergy with the federal security systems. So when people said governors are handicapped, I don't agree that governors are handicapped.
So you have all what it takes to fix security problem in your state?
We need support from federal government. It is a job in progress. We need to articulate properly, working in synergy with federal security agencies as a subnational government, how we can create a working relationship that will allow us to be on the same page to be able to fight crime in the country. The reason being that the might is with federal government. The economy of subnational government is lean. The funding requirement is enormous. So it has to be a collaboration.
Do the state governors think that there is a need for state policing?
Yeah, it is. Even the federal government have allowed the vigilante approach. How many state governments are able to fund an effective and efficient vigilante organization?
So state policing cannot work? Is that what you're saying?
It will only work if states are in position to fund it. So when we talk about true federalism, we are not joking. First of all, as I speak, so many of our states cannot even fund our existence without allocation from federal government. And the meaning of government is not coming to consume. The meaning of government is you first, at a subnational level, if you're a state, what the onions. You make the money before you can spend it.
But those who are crying for restructuring, those who have clamored for restructuring are saying state policing is one way to go. So you're saying that the state government, the subnationals, as it is presently constituted, cannot properly run state police.
No, it is not running state police. When you talk of restructuring, we are already a federation with subnational government. The first thing to establish is how many states are viable. Because the geographical jurisdiction of a state and what makes you autonomous as a federating unit is your ability to exist. If you are a state that is existing at the mercy of federal government, it is not left for you to say whether you want existence or not. So we think that we need subnational governments that will first, whether subnational or federal government, You must first earn the money before you can spend it.
So, I mean, is this the reason why Ebuba Agụ is not really working in the southeast?
No, I don't know what it means. We don't have a bag. I have Imo State Security Organization.
But that was a regional security network put together by the...
No, it was an acronym, a global acronym for Southeast Security Organization. But in Imo State, what I have is Imo Security Organization. And it's a vigilante group that has a program for both the traditional rulers, the town union presidents, to come together with security agencies to provide quality intelligence for security agencies to operate.
Is it working?
It is working. And that is why we were able to overcome what befell Imo State in the last 3 years.
Is that one of the reasons why you boldly took, because there are those who are saying, why will Governor Uzodimma put his inauguration on a Monday? There are those who feel that that is some kind of, I mean, what message do you want to pass?
No. You know, it's
usually sit at home day.
No, it's a constitutional issue. I was sworn in on 15th January 2020. And then to be sworn in again for the second time, 15th January 2024. And it happens to be on a Monday. And by which time, God has already intervened. Our efforts and the contributions to allow an enabling environment for good governance was almost in place. So, and our people, the reaction of Imo people, who appreciated my outing for the first time, defied every threat and came out.
So you went ahead and do it anyway?
Of course I did it.
So, but I mean, you're running on your second term now.
Yeah.
And there are those who are afraid that Uzodimma will be complacent. And that complacency is the fear of the second term syndrome, where governors get the chief executive get into office and they forget all the promises because they are not seeking re-election.
No, those who are thinking of that are people that are under illusion. Because when I came the first time, I came with the 8 years manifesto. And those who have copies of those manifestos will see clearly that despite the challenges I had in my first term, I was able to achieve 75% or more of the promises in that manifesto, otherwise called my vision document. Now, coming again the second term, now I said during my inauguration that my second term outing would dwarf the achievements of my first term.
Is it a commitment you are making now to the people of Imo State?
I even said on my honor, I swore to it. And the shame I want to tell you, I'm a creative thinker without fear of anybody accusing me of intellectual arrogance. I'm a creative thinker and understands the geography and the workings of the political system of the state. And I know what my people want. And I'm working towards what my people wants. And I must change the narrative before I leave.
So what commitment are you making to them tonight?
My commitment,
those people who are watching
by
tonight.
the time I will be leaving as the second time governor of Imo State will never be known for bad news.
But you promised them some jobs that, I mean, there are going to be foreign jobs to them. Have you kept to that promise?
I have. Listen, see, creative thinking is the order of the day. When I came, I looked at the situation in Imo State. The poverty was too much. The unemployment market was huge. And I saw clearly that if we don't reduce the level of unemployment in Imo State, there will be no economy. I looked at the curriculum, the school curriculum, and the kind of graduates being chunked out. Social sciences, history, arts and culture, and all that. And I checked the market. And you must balance the demand and supply. And what was in the market is already gone to a digital status, digital economy. Now I created what I call digital ministry, Ministry of Digital Economy. And what did I do? I created a program called Skill Up Imo, digital skills. I introduced new digital skills. I graduated the first 5,000 people. All of them are working 100%. The second graduation, Skill Up Imo 2, cohort 2. I graduated 15,000. 75% are working now. And some of them are now employers of labor. And now with leverage on Mr. President's visit to India and Dubai, where he signed an MOU that will allow India and Dubai to come to Nigeria to bring out the kind of digital services they require and they get people to be employed. I leveraged on it and then amended my resume and then recruited another 40,000. The implication of that is that the Cisco, the company, the consultant that certifies these digital skills and gives them provisional licenses or certificates will certify people in Imo State. And the companies outside Nigeria will employ them to work for them. As I speak to you, under my digital skill, over 6,000 people are working for foreign companies.
You promised 4,000 foreign jobs.
I have more than 4,000 already working.
Certified.
Certified working.
How can Nigerians be able to verify?
Visit Imo State website. You find the information for yourself.
4,000 Imo.
More than 4,000
are working, getting foreign jobs.
They have even an alumni platform now. And each time I want them, at the press of a button, they respond. I have computed and automated transactions and processes in Imo State government. And the governance in Imo State has moved from the Stone Age to the digital stage.
Let me ask you, you mentioned this, the state of Texas the other time. You're talking about Houston, and you talk about the relationship to oil production. And that's one thing that you can identify with the state of Texas in the United States. As a governor of Imo State, what would you like your state to be identified for?
Recall that the National Economic Council at the last sitting, he consulted the Crude Oil Theft Committee and made me the chairman of that committee. I've had 2 meetings in that committee. And the first discovery is that despite the crude oil theft, the so-called crude oil theft that has beclouded our economy and the country, that the regulatory responsibility of government has not been up to expectations. What is more, do you know that under the Pre-Shipment Act 2004, import and export, that all exports in the country requires export permits. And all export permits granted, the proceeds must be repatriated back to the Central Bank of Nigeria. That including NNPC and all the oil companies in Nigeria, that 90% of them are not repatriating the proceeds of crude oil export back to the country, making the solvency margin of our local currency dormant. So as an interim measure, I have just written to the all oil companies, including the NUPRC, who is currently regulating oil production in Nigeria, to ensure that before they issue crude oil export permit in any quarter to any oil companies, that there must be evidence of the repatriation of the proceeds of the previous export to Central Bank attached to the application. That is the only way we can have dollars. That is the only way dollars will not be scarce. That is the only way Nigeria can be relevant, Nigerian Naira can be strong and solvent.
To kill the cabals within that sector.
That is it. And that is what the president is suffering.
So there are cabals in the security, there are cabals in the
No, I did not say cabals in the security, because you will have people who may be vulnerable. But I'm saying that if, for instance, we're exporting 1 million barrels of crude oil, and we have exported it under an oil permit, export permit, that the cost of that 1 million barrels crude oil in dollars should come back to Nigeria as what we have as our export.
Governor Uzodimma, I need us to wrap up now. What do you think that Imo State should be known for? under your watch?
Under my watch, I want to create, I have a mantra of 3R: rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery. And the whole destination is prosperity. So under this mantra, I want to recover all the access roads, recover infrastructure, create jobs. And how do I create jobs? I need power. I need industries. Industries cannot come if they don't have power. I've created and I've gotten approval from the presidency for Rice Oil Processing Free Trade Zone, where we will raise Oguta Lake or Rice River to the sea, where we will provide Rice Power Development Company, where Rice Power Development Company will transmit and distribute power to industries, where we will maximize the abundance of our endowment gas. Imo State has the highest gas reserve in the country, speaking as such today. So I have what I call gas optimization program.
Governor Uzodimma,
so I'll create an economy.
We have 30 seconds to go. I understand that people are now jostling for who becomes, you're just a few months into office, or a few weeks into the office, and people are already jostling for who succeeds you. Very interesting politics. But in 30 seconds, if you can tell us, there is Hedia, there is Okorocha, there is Uche Ogumba. There are a lot of political opponents that you've had. How do you hope to bring back your political enemies or political opponents back to the table now that the elections are over? We have 30 seconds to go.
If you listen to me during my inauguration, I called all the political gladiators in Imo State to come together. Let's unite and develop our state. Power belongs to God. As I speak to you, I don't know who will succeed me. Only God knows. It's as simple as that.
Governor Hope Uzodimma, the chair of the APC, the Progressives Governors Forum, thank you so much indeed. And the governor of Imo State, thank you so much for
Before I leave you, I must say one thing, 1 second. That the political situation in the country, democracy we are practicing is government of the people, for the people and by the people. Let those who did not win or who lost during the last election find courage and time to recontest. But however, encourage the current president in his programs so Nigeria will be better off for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hope Uzodimma, for your time. Well, just before we go, and here is my final word tonight. Mr. President, Senator Bola Tinubu, it is to you tonight that I bring the burden and plight of our people too. I trust this message finds you in good health and high spirits as you continue to navigate the intricate responsibilities that come with the esteemed position you hold. It is with a heavy heart and deep concern that I pass this message on the current state of our beloved nation, Nigeria. In a time when the heartbeat of our nation is racing with fear and the very fabric of our society is tearing at the seams, we stand at a crossroads. President Tinubu, the nation calls for your undivided attention as you embark on a private visit to France. Our beloved Nigeria is grappling with unprecedented challenges that demand urgent and decisive action. Kidnapping and abductions are the order of the day. From Lagos to Kaduna, Taraba, and violent and criminal activities have pervaded our land. Even in the heart of our nation's capital, the audacity of kidnappers has become a sinister reality, striking fear into the hearts of our people. Our citizens are living in constant fear, unsure of their safety and the safety of their loved ones. This is not the Nigeria we dreamed of, not the renewed hope that was promised. We applaud the gallantry of our security operatives, but indeed, more work still needs to be done to keep the people safe. Efforts are being made, but it appears they are not far enough. What has become the strategies of state policing and community policing that's been talked about several years? And the huge white papers and advisory notes on how to tackle insecurity in Nigeria, where are they? President Tinubu, as a pro-democracy agitator, isn't it the right time to restructure Nigeria for it to work properly? Is the Nigeria you and your friends fought for, is it the Nigeria that you're talking about? The removal of subsidies has unleashed a tidal wave of economic downturn, leaving families struggling to make ends meet. Prices of commodities have gone through the roof. The biting effects are felt across the nation, and the loss of confidence in the government is palpable. This is not a time for complacency. It is a time for bold, unwavering leadership, Mr. President. I think it is about time to get the nation's eggheads in one room and find a lasting cure to our ailing economy. As you stand on foreign soil, Mr. President, remember the weight of your responsibility to the Nigerian people. Our citizens, including those who voted for you, are losing faith in the government. The implications of the loss of confidence are far-reaching. And as a leader, you cannot afford to look away. Investors are fleeing the nation like never before. Economic potential of Nigeria is being squandered, and the consequences will be felt for generations. We urge you, Mr. President, to take immediate measures to create an environment that attracts and retains investment. The clock is ticking, and our economic future is at stake. Mr. President, the time to act is now. Swift and decisive measures are needed to curb the escalating insecurity, alleviate the economic burden on citizens, and restore the confidence in the government. This is not only a call to fulfill campaign promises, but a plea for the preservation of our great nation. Mr. President, our regional leadership is hanging in the balance. Some members of ECOWAS are signaling exit, and Nigeria's influence is under threat. It is time to reassert your leadership, strengthen diplomatic ties, and secure our place in the Committee of Nations. As journalists, we will not shy away from probing, inspiring, and holding leaders accountable. President Tinubu, live up to the expectations of your calling and the mandate upon which your office stands. The Nigerian people deserve more. They deserve a leader who acts with urgency, integrity, and unwavering commitment to the well-being of our great nation. The challenges may be daunting, but if you are resolute and carry the people along, we can all together overcome. The giant of Africa must now rise and take his rightful place in the Committee of Nations and harness its potentials for the Nigerian people to smile again. God bless this Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this is my final word tonight. Good night, everyone.